Hi guys, thanks for coming back to my channel. Today we're going to be making granny stitch bell bottoms. To start off, we're going to follow my granny stitch shorts pattern, and I'll link that below. And you're going to want to create the shorts right before you start making the leg holes. What you'll want to use today is a 5mm hook, a pair of scissors, a tapestry needle, and then whatever colors you'd like to work with. I'm going to be doing a kind of rainbow motif, and I'm using like a size 4 worsted weight yarn. Now I had a huge leftover ball of yarn in this black color, and then I just went ahead and I bought a Caron cake that had all these rainbow colors to it, and I just separated out the colors. So I ended up doing 2 rows of black and then 2 rows of color here, so you can see the pattern that I'm using, but feel free to create your own color pattern. Now to begin one of the leg openings or leg holes here, like I said, I finished the shorts motif. I got it to the length that I needed it to be. I did work 2 rows of the waistband, and then you're going to see that the leg holes are separated by this one point here. So we're going to turn our work with whatever leg hole we want to start working with, and we're just going to work in the round, so you can flip your work upside down. Then you're going to take your yarn and you're just going to join into any space here that you'd like. It really doesn't matter. And then I'm just going to slip stitch and chain up 3. And we're really just continuing the same style of granny stitch around. So in that same opening here, I'm going to do a double crochet, and then I'm going to chain 1 and hop over to my next space here. Now, the way that you are going to size this is going to be specific to your body. So it's really a lot of trial and error of trying your piece on after you do a couple of rows and seeing if you want it tighter or if you can continue with the amount of stitches that you have. So let's go ahead and work all the way around. I'll work to the corner with you, and then I'll work to the crotch with you so you can see how many stitches we have around. Okay, so I made it to the edge here. So we started off right here, and I went all the way to the side where we joined our shorts panels. So you could see this is where kind of like the corners of the granny stitch are meeting, and then we had this seam up the side. So I'm going to just put in 2 double crochets here, chain 1, and then I'm going to go into this little corner space on this other panel. So I'm going to essentially ignore this little seam. Okay, and then you're just going to work around, and like I said, I will meet you at this crotch area. Okay, so I've arrived at the crotch point where the 2 panels join in between the legs here, and we could see that we have another little corner space on this panel and another little corner space here where the crotch is joining. So I'm going to put in my 2 double crochets in that corner space, chain 1, and then jump over to here on this panel, and then in my last space here I'm just working my 2 double crochets and chain 1, and now to end this round I'm going to just slip stitch at the top of my initial chain 3. And I said I was alternating colors here, so I did my 2 rows of black, and now I want to go on to my next color, which will be green if we're doing a rainbow. So I'm just going to cut this here, and then I'm going to show you how to join your next color. So we can kind of see how we're getting some length in this leg hole here. This is where we ended our row and we trimmed our yarn. We're going to add our new color, and then we could trap our yarn as we go along, or we could sew it in afterwards. So to add in my new color, I'm just going to make a little slip knot here, attach that to my hook And then I'm going to go into this space here and do a little slip stitch, make sure that's nice and tight. And then I could chain up 3 and then put a double crochet in that same space while trapping my little yarn tails here. Chain 1 and then work around normally. So now you should have the appropriate number of spaces and you're just going to work around and around. I'm going to stick with doing, you know, my 2 rounds of each color. So I'm going to make 1 round of this green and then another one. And then I'm going to work as many rounds as I need to until I get essentially right above my knee. So try this on, make sure that it's fitting. If you need to add any stitches, you can do an increase. If you need to tighten it, you can do some decreases, but I will meet you to when it's fitting appropriately for myself. So I will meet you back to when my leg hole is around the length of right above my knee. As you can see, I've been working this 1 leg opening, and it actually took me 15 rounds to get to above my knee where I wanted things to start to taper in and get tighter. So you're just working around and around and around without increasing or decreasing until you get right to your knee, and then we're going to start decreasing so that we could make this a little more form-fitting around our knee, and then we'll start to flare out from there to make the bell bottom. So obviously I'm not going to work all 15 rounds with you on this other leg opening, so I will show you how to decrease for your 16th round or whatever round that brings you to get to right above your knee area. So for our 16th round, we're going to attach our yarn, and I'm just showing you how to do the decrease, the granny stitch decrease here. So we're going to just chain up 3 and then make our granny stitch while trapping our tails here. And then chain 1. And now for the 16th round, we want to decrease 3 times. So you want to find 3 spaced out areas on your leg hole where you want to place these decreases. You don't want to do them all next to each other, because then it'll be a really noticeable tight spot. So you could pick, like, you know, 1 goes here, 1 goes here, 1 goes here, you know, just so that you have 3 decreases in this round. But the way that you would work it is by yarning over, going into your next opening here, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over. So we're not completing that. We're going to yarn over, go into that same opening, pull through, and then pull through 2. So you have the 3 loops on your hook here. Then you're going to hop over to your next opening, yarn over, do the same thing, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over in that same opening, pull up a loop, and pull through 2. So now I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 loops on my hook. I'm just going to yarn over and then pull through all of those. And then I'm going to chain 1, work normally until I get to my next desired area where I want to do my decrease. And just do that so you have 3 decreases at some point. And then you're going to join at the end of the round to the top of your chain 3 here. And now for row 17, you're not going to do any decrease. You will just work in each opening around. So that way we don't decrease too drastically and quickly. So 17th row, just work a normal row. And then for your 18th row, you're going to decrease 3 times again. And then your 19th, you are not doing any decrease, you are just going around. And then after the 19th row, we're going to go to the 20th row, and I will show you how we're going to increase to start our flare. So this is the point where we had decreased a bunch, so it kind of tapers in. And then for the 20th round, you could see a little something extra right here. That's where we start to add our stitches. So let me turn this to orient which way we'll be working. So as we're going around and we're putting our 2 double crochet clusters in the spaces, the way we increase is by adding a cluster in between that previous row's cluster. So that's how we could subtly increase, and you could see it as we go around. See, it's just incorporated into the middle of a cluster kind of seamlessly there. So that's when we're going to start to see this flaring out and this increase in size and volume. So I'll show you how we're going to work that by pretending that we are on our 20th round here. So for row 20, we want to increase after every 4th cluster. So we're going to start as we normally would by chaining up 3. And then you can always trap your tails to make it easier on yourself at the end so you don't have to sew in so much. And we make our cluster separated by a chain 1. So that's 1, 2, 3, and then 4, still chain 1, and then we're going to increase by adding a cluster right here. So you would just do as you normally, make a cluster, and chain 1, and then work in this little guy. So now this starts our count over again. So now we did 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we work that increase. So do that for round 20, and then join at the top of your chain of 3 here. And then for row 21, and 22, I'm sorry, row 21 and 22, you're not going to do any increase. You're just going to work your clusters in every space around. So now that you've gotten the concept of how to increase and decrease with this granny stitch, for row 23, you're going to increase after every 5 clusters. So this was the 4, so now you're going to make a regular one in here, and then you're going to do your increase cluster. So row 23, increase after every 5 clusters, and then for rows 24 through 27, you're not going to increase at all, and you will just work in your spaces. Then for row 28, you're going to increase after every 6 clusters. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, then you increase. So that's for row 28, you're increasing after every 6 clusters. And then for rows 29 through 33, there will be no increase, and you just work in the spaces. And then I went to row 34, and I increased after every 7 clusters. So you can see by that 37th row how much we've increased if we compare it to the start of our leg hole here. So we got quite a bit of flare by building up extra stitches here, but you could feel free to make it as belled as you want by increasing as much as you want, and by making it custom to the length that you want as well. So feel free to play with this one and really customize it, make it your own, choose some great colors, and then to finish off the waistband, you could reference the shorts video again on how to make a tie for this, but basically you would just crochet a very long chain and then weave it in and out so that you could tie it at your waist here. Or you can use ribbon or a skinny belt. But yeah, I hope that you really love these crochet granny stitch bell bottoms, and it's perfect for festival season just around the corner. Thank you guys.